After the Anti-Organ Trafficking Global Summit held in Vatican on February 7 and 8, 2018, and the 27th International Organ Transplant Congress held in Madrid, Spain, June 30 to July 5. Lots of reports regarding the China model of organ donation and organ transplantation suddenly emerged in the Chinese mainstream media. The China model of organ transplantation is recognized by the WHO. International organizations highly praise the China model of organ donation and transplantation. A new era is beginning. The difficult problem of organ shortage is cracked, decrypting the China model of organ donation and transplantation. It seemed that the China model of organ donation and transplantation had suddenly taken the lead in the world. What exactly is the China model of organ donation and transplantation? This video will reveal the truth about this puzzling field to you. The first human organ transplant in China occurred in 1972 at Sun Yat-sen Hospital in Guangzhou, and it is now one of the largest organ transplantation centers in China.
早在1972年，我们就做了这个肾脏移植，这一例移植呢也是整个亚洲第一例亲属活体移植。78年做了中国第一例的甲状腺腺移植，然后93年做了第一例的肝脏移植。
He Shaoshan revealed in an interview with Southern Weekly. The year 2000 was a watershed for the organ transplant industry in China. The number of liver transplants in 2000 reached 10 times that of 1999. By 2005, the number had tripled again. This means that the number of transplants increased 30 times within 6 years. Before 2000, only 19 hospitals in China were doing liver transplantation. By April 2006, the number was over 500. In April 2015, in the article Organ Transplantation: A Race Against Time, published by the People's Daily Online, Professor Yi Qifar, executive chairman of China Organ Transplant Alliance, disclosed that before a human organ transplant regulation was passed by the State Council of China in 2007, there were more than 1,000 clinical centers providing organ transplant services. Even city-level Chinese medicine hospitals, township hospitals, and grassroots military hospitals were doing a lot of organ transplant operations. Why were so many hospitals suddenly doing organ transplantation? The reason was very simple. The number of organs available for transplant was huge. Every hospital operated at full capacity and performed transplants day and night. The level of madness can be gleaned from several news reports. Phoenix Weekly's Grand Investigation on Global Organ Transplantation, in the 5th issue of 2006 reported, tens of thousands of foreigners came to China for organ transplants. They interviewed staff of the Tianjin First Central Hospital. At that time, there were 7 liver-kidney transplant teams in the organ transplant center. Surgeons work busily between wards and operating rooms. They don't have time to chat with each other. They always say, very busy these days, more than a dozen operations a day. Some doctors even did surgeries during the night and didn't sleep for the whole night. According to statements from patients' relatives, the maximum number of liver-kidney transplants that occurred in one day was 24. In March 2006, reporters from Guangzhou Daily witnessed 5 liver transplants and 6 kidney transplants performed simultaneously in the surgery rooms at the first affiliated hospital of Zhongshan University. The record at this hospital was 19 kidney transplants in one day. The highest record of liver transplantation was 6+1 multi-organ transplant in one day. According to Xiangya Hospital of Central South University, on May 14, 2006, a new record of organ transplant surgery was recreated. 17 liver, kidney, and corneal transplants were done within one day. Within less than 2 weeks, 15 organ transplants were completed in a day. Located in Chongqing, Xinqiao Hospital, which is affiliated to the 3rd Military Medical University of PLA, recorded in its A Brief History of Urology Division of Kidney Disease Center, that, as of 2002, 2,590 kidney transplants had been performed. 24 kidney transplants were performed in one day. On June 23, 2006, People's Daily interviewed Xia Chang, director of the Liver Transplantation Center of Renji Hospital in Shanghai, who said that he couldn't count how many liver transplants he had done. He only remembered his record was 6 liver transplants completed in a day. Chu Qingshan, the head of the Organ Transplantation Center of Zhengzhou People's Hospital, held the record of completing 11 kidney transplants plus 1 liver transplant within 30 hours. There are more such reports. In order to recruit patients, some hospitals offered free transplants. Some hospitals claimed on their website to have donors seeking matched recipients, guarantee to find healthy kidneys in the shortest possible time, and also promised, in case of failure, we will continue to perform transplants until one is successful. In 2006, a chief surgeon of the Organ Transplantation Center of the First Affiliated Hospital of Henan College of Traditional Chinese Medicine published a study on 50 patients at his hospital, who had each received 2, 3, or 4 kidney transplants. Emergency liver transplantation is an operation performed on patients with acute severe liver disease, whose survival would otherwise be less than 72 hours. Transplant hospitals across China have a high percentage of emergency transplant occurrences. For example, between 2003 and 2006, Shanghai Changjiang Hospital performed 120 emergency liver transplants. According to incomplete statistics in the 2006 annual report of China Liver Transplant Registration, of the 8,486 liver transplants registered by 29 hospitals, 4,331 had indicated whether or not they were emergency surgeries. Among them, 1,150 cases were emergency liver transplants, which accounts for 26.6%. As the remaining 4,155 cases were not indicated, the proportion of emergency transplants could be higher. It seems that a donor organ is available at any time. With so many organ transplants being performed, it isn't difficult to imagine that a large number of people must have died to provide so many organs. Who were they? In July 2005, at the World Organ Transplant Management High-Level Meeting held in Manila, Philippines, Huang Zhefu, then Vice Minister of Health of China, was elected as chairman of the conference. When discussing organ transplantation, it was here that Huang Zhefu revealed for the first time that Chinese hospitals mainly relied on executed prisoners as a source of donor organs. In March 2006, 2 witnesses, Anne and Peter, revealed that the CCP had taken corneas, kidneys, livers, and other organs from a large number of Falun Gong practitioners for transplantation. Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa, is a traditional Chinese cultivation way guided by the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. After its public introduction in 1992, it quickly spread all over China. The miraculous health benefits and moral improvement experienced by Falun Gong practitioners were praised by people from all walks of life. By 1997, the number of people practicing Falun Gong exceeded 70 million. The CCP, owing to its fear of its own ruling instability, regards Falun Gong as a threat to its monopoly in the ideological field, and cannot tolerate so many people pursuing truth, compassion, and forbearance. Plus, it was the former CCP chief Jiang Zemin's perverted jealousy that caused Falun Dafa to be banned officially on July 20, 1999. The CCP has used an enormous amount of manpower to illegally arrest Falun Gong practitioners nationwide. Those who wouldn't promise to give up practicing Falun Gong were tortured, detained for long periods of time, and illegally sentenced to forced labor camps. Jiang Zemin swore to completely eradicate Falun Gong within 3 months. As a result, a large number of Falun Gong practitioners have been persecuted to death, and this happened during the same time period that hospitals had large numbers of organs available on demand. Huang Zhefu, as chief surgeon of organ transplantation, once disclosed to the media that in 2012, he had completed more than 500 liver transplants, of which only 1 was from a volunteer donor, all others came from death row prisoners. On the occasion of the 50th anniversary celebration of the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in 2005, Huang Zhefu completed the first autologous liver transplant operation in China. The 4th issue in 2006 of Today Nurses reported the whole process in detail. The patient who received the liver transplantation had intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma and was scheduled for tumor removal surgery. On September 28, during the process, cancer cells were found on the inferior vena cava. This became an ideal case for autologous liver transplantation that Huang Zhefu had been dreaming of doing. However, the first affiliated hospital of Xinjiang Medical University at that time did not have the facilities needed for an autologous liver transplantation. So Huang Zhefu immediately contacted the first affiliated hospital of Zhongshan Medical University in Guangzhou, and the Southwestern Liver Hospital Medical Center of the Third Medical University in Chongqing, to prepare a spare liver. In case the autologous liver wasn't suitable for replanting into the patient, an allogeneic liver could be used. In the early morning of September 29, a matching liver was transported from Chongqing. The 3 medical staff of Guangzhou Zhongshan Hospital also rushed to Xinjiang with cardiopulmonary bypass equipment and another suitable liver. They also found a matching liver in Xinjiang. Huang Zhefu began the operation at 7 p.m. on the 29th, and completed it at 10 a.m. on the 30th. After 24 hours of observation, Huang Zhefu announced that the operation was successful and no longer any need for a spare liver. On November 5, 2013, Phoenix Weekly published an article titled, "Shady Human Organ Trafficking in China" that commented on this operation. The Liver Transplantation Technology Management Regulations, set by the Ministry of Health in 2006, stipulate that the cold ischemic time of a liver should not exceed 15 hours. The 2 spare livers transported from Chongqing and Guangzhou could only be 2 big alive persons. Otherwise, not to mention the starting time of looking for a matching liver. Just count the time when the surgery started till the 40 hours later to know whether the autologous transplantation succeeded or not. The livers that had been removed in advance would have been unusable for a long time. Isn't it weird that these 2 death row prisoners with matching liver from Chongqing and Guangzhou happened to be executed on this day, and casually taken to Xinjiang for execution? We need to ask indeed, why is there no judicial procedure governing execution of the death penalty? Why is there no verification of the body and supervision by the court? What kind of power do hospitals have that they can take prisoners casually to other cities for execution? The Minghui.org website recounts that a large number of Falun Gong practitioners have been persecuted to death. Their encounters with random slaughter are similar to the 2 big alive persons made available should a spare liver be required. It also records the experiences of a large number of detained Falun Gong practitioners who were forced to have their blood tested and who underwent organ examinations while incarcerated. These tests were not for maintaining their health because they were being tortured. There is reason to believe that the 2 spare organ donors weren't really death row prisoners. They were detained Falun Gong practitioners. Therefore, using organs from executed prisoners is a cover-up that conceals the CCP's crimes of slaughtering Falun Gong practitioners and stealing their organs for huge monetary gain.
就是因为中国的使用死球器官不符合世界卫生组织关于这个器官来源的规定，所以当时的世界上规定不允许中国的专家参加世界的移植的会议，也不允许中国的临床器官移植文章在世界有名的杂志上发表，也不允许中国进入世界的器官移植整个组织。器官移植的医生都是大医生，可是大家都是在世界上都觉得很没有脸面。
你有过这种感觉吗？
因为我是这样，我一直想改变这个事情。
At the end of 2014, former Deputy Health Minister Huang Zhefu announced that as of January 1, 2015, China would stop taking organs from death row prisoners. Organ transplants would come from civic organ donations. On October 17, Huang Zhefu told the Beijing Youth Daily that after the organ donor source was changed, there was no shortage of organs. On the contrary, the number of organs for transplantation reached a record high. There was widespread suspicion that mainland China had really stopped using death row prisoners' organs. The New York Times published an article on November 17. It is actually changing to different words. China continues to harvest organs from prisoners.
那我可不可以理解，就是2015年之后就不会有死囚捐献这个情况存在，包括他自愿或不自愿？
我觉得是这样，我们一定是这个不要就是有这个死囚捐献这几个字。
According to Huang Zhefu, a death row prisoner is also a citizen, and the death row donation is also the voluntary donation of a citizen. Huang Zhefu further revealed the important basis for the abolition of using death row prisoners' organs. Mystery exists in the organ allocation computer system.
强制性的执行，
强制性的执行，
是强制性的执行，这里面都必须得进入到这个体系。这就是未来有我们为什么要取消实行器官来源的重要的依据。
Organ allocation performed by a computer only ensures that there is no human intervention in the allocation process. It cannot guarantee the source of the organs. What is the basis for ensuring that the organs allocated by the computer system are given voluntarily? The investigation later in this video shows that this important basis is not credible at all. As of May 4, 2018, the number of volunteers registered for organ donation in mainland China reached 420,000. In the United States it is 140 million people. Even with such a large voluntary organ donor population, one has to wait at least 3 years for a kidney transplant in the United States. With so few voluntary organ donors in China, it is impossible to support the current number of transplants occurring in mainland China. So Huang Jefu launched the China program. Our final decision on who will be an organ donor in our China program is subject to the consent of family members, not the individuals will. In other words, if a brain-dead person was originally willing to donate, but a family member doesn't agree, then there is no organ donation. On the contrary, if the person was originally unwilling to donate, but if all the family members agreed to the donation, his organs would be taken. More than 2,000 organ donation coordinators scattered throughout the country are responsible for communicating with the families of potential donors, asking whether the family is willing to forego treatment when brain death has occurred but the patient's heart is still beating and donate the organs of their loved ones. The article, "Would you like to donate organs?" Role states the coordinator's job has potential safety hazards. The coordinator has no way to predict how the patient's family will react. They may suddenly become emotional, swearing, or even attacking. In order to create an environment conducive to voluntary organ donation, various cities have set up body donation memorial cemeteries and organ donation monuments. There is large media coverage for each occurrence of voluntary donation. During the Qingming festival, the local governments and the Red Cross would organize activities for the donor families to have commemorative events in the cemetery or in front of the monument. On June 11, 2018, a migrant worker from Anlu City died in a car accident in Sanya and his family decided to donate his organs. This donation attracted nearly 100 mainstream media, including CCTV, reporting on it.
我们主流媒体的关于器官捐献的报道是铺天盖地。
It is worth mentioning that there is also a humanitarian relief fund for voluntary organ donation under the China model. For example, on March 30, 2018, the article 6,600 Sichuanese registered to donate organs and 100,000 people in the province waiting for organ transplants every year reported that the Sichuan Red Cross Society has set up a special fund to help donor families with financial difficulties. This fund was given the provincial special fund support of 3 million yuan, and West China Hospital of Sichuan University injected 10 million yuan into the fund to help the donor families. On August 3, 2017, Taiho Group announced a 100 million yuan donation to the China Organ Transplantation Development Foundation, setting a record for the largest single donation in the field of organ transplantation in China. The main purpose of this donation is for organ donation and donor family help. It can be seen that the proportion and importance of the Humanitarian Relief Fund for voluntary organ donations under the China model. In addition, organ donor families can get some special services. For example, Xiangya Second Hospital performed a lung transplant free of charge for one organ donor family member. Despite all these measures, The reported number of voluntary donations is far from the number of transplants that occur every day. Not to mention the organs available any time for emergency transplants. We will examine this later. In any country in the world that provides organ transplantation, the biggest impediment to completing these procedures is the extreme scarcity of organs, except in China.
第一个是经济原因，一个器官移植的手术是很贵的，不是很多老百姓都能够提供这个消费，这是其一。第二个，我们没有那么多好的有自治的医院。第三个，才是没有那么多的公平。
In order to solve the first bottleneck, Huang Jiefu has been calling for organ transplants to be included in major medical insurance coverage. Many provinces and cities in China have gradually added kidney and liver transplantation to their medical insurance plans. For example, the cost of a liver transplant in Zhengzhou.
这次我父亲做肝移植花了22万块钱，我们郑州市医保给我们报了6万块钱，医护院的补助给我们补助了7万多块钱，我们自己就掏9万多块钱。
In response to the second bottleneck, Huang Jiefu plans to increase the number of hospitals qualified to perform transplants. According to a report by China Business News on March 12, 2017, Huang Jiefu plans to add 20 organ transplant hospitals in 2017, and a total of 300 in 5 years. National Health and Family Planning Commission of China released a list of 178 organ transplant medical institutions on February 11, 2018. Some hospitals not on the list are also doing transplants. For example, the Dongguan People's Hospital of Guangdong Province obtained pilot qualification for organ transplantation in 2011, allowing liver and kidney transplantation. The hospital claimed that as early as 2007, more than 3,000 kidney transplants had been completed by its facility. Not only has the number of transplant hospitals increased, but also all transplant hospitals are expanding their capacity. A large number of new hospital campuses have emerged. According to the person in charge of the Planning and Information Department of the National Health and Family Planning Commission, from 2004 to 2014, the number of hospitals with 800 beds and above increased from 243 to 1369. With both the first and second bottlenecks improved, would the shortage of organ donors be a problem? No. Mainland China still has inexhaustible supply of organs and can export them to other areas.
2014年的12月19日，黄介夫应邀参访高雄长庚医院时发表演说，提到了建立两岸器官移植合作平台，使台湾的病人不必再到大陆做器官移植，而且期盼是最快在2015年，大陆的器官就能够合法的输台，让台湾患者可以在台湾移植器官。
Huang Jiefu's proposal to establish a cross-strait organ transplant platform was opposed by a number of human rights and doctors groups in Taiwan, who jointly held a press conference. They opposed the move because the source of the organs is unknown, and very likely involves human rights infringement. They called for the Ministry of Health and Welfare and the Taiwan medical community to resolutely oppose such an agreement. At the China International Organ Donation Conference held on December 15, 2017, the China Organ Transplantation Development Foundation and the Macau Health Bureau announced the signing of an organ allocation and sharing agreement, which is expected to significantly alleviate the current organ shortage in Macau. By the end of 2017, 519 Hong Kong residents and 50 Macau residents had received organ transplants in mainland China.
中国曾经是器官移植旅游热点之一。我们2009年就下了国家卫计委就下了卫生部下了通知，这个外国人的旅游经过卫生部的批准，那从2009年又慢慢的降低了。他们这个表上可以看到，2009年就越来越少了，到了2015年取消死球器官以后，就突然没有了。2016年一例都没有。
However, TV Chow Sun's on-site investigation showed that this is not the case. With documents from a patient waiting for a kidney transplant in South Korea. The TV Chow Sun investigators visited Tianjin First Central Hospital in October 2017. They met there a Korean patient who had just completed a liver transplant, and a Korean patient who was waiting for a kidney transplant. A nurse at the First Central Hospital also said that recently there had been more patients from the Middle East than from South Korea. There were many English-speaking patients as well. Recently, public service advertisements for free transplants have appeared. For example, in June 2017, Jilin Tourism Broadcasting and the Liver Transplantation Center of the First Hospital of Jilin University jointly launched the Heart and Liver Baby Children's Liver Transplant Assistance Program, providing liver transplants free of charge for 10 children between 6 months and 18 years of age who need a liver. In July 2017, Guangzhou IRI Hospital provided free corneal transplants for 10 young people from low-income families in Guangdong Province. In June 2018, Dongfeng General Hospital and the Xi'an City Disabled Persons Federation jointly launched a free corneal transplant program, with no limit to the number of applicants they will accept before the end of June. In May 2018, IRI Hospital Group launched a public welfare program for corneal transplantation in the West, providing free corneal transplantation for 500 people nationwide.
今天上午，浙江大学医学院附属第一医院器官移植基金召开发布会。来自湖州被扩张性心肌病折磨5年的13岁小女孩欣欣成功换心，预计明天就可以正式出院了。这是器官移植基金成立以来第一个接受心脏移植手术的患者。现在，浙一医院器官移植基金针对心胸外科、肾移植科、肺移植科和肝移植中心4个领域，面向全社会征集20名患者。
So where are the huge number of organs in mainland China coming from? This video will answer that question. Xi'an Gaozin Hospital was founded in 2002, which is in the time period when Falun Gong was persecuted most severely and China's organ transplantation began its explosive rate of growth. Xi'an Gaozin Hospital described its development history in the article, 10 Years of Memory of Urology. After an analysis of the medical market at the time, our urology department quickly identified the main development needed was in organ transplantation. Between 2002 and 2007, the organ transplant business created brilliant achievements. With only 3 to 5 people, 7 to 8 guns, the urology department was able to create a miracle of bringing in over 10 million yuan annually. A detailed description said, "Think about those days. Sometimes we had to pick up the patients before dawn from the train station, airport, or other hospital. No matter in the hot summer and cold winter, 4 or 5 people nestled in a dilapidated van removing organs from donors. Think about the 7 or 8 transplant surgeries completed in one day and night. This is indeed a real record of the crazy age of China's organ transplantation. A huge number of organs were obtained by doctors driving vans to prisons and labor camps." Huang Jefu once had a similar experience.
他们说问黄部长，他说你有没有从死囚奶身上取过器官？我说是这样，我说我曾经第一次我去过一次，可是不是我去取的，可是我去过一次以后，我说再也不去了。
你记得是哪一年的事情吗
？94年，
就是您开始做人体器官移植第一例的时候。
And in the 1993, I just feel curious. I went to observe how they got the organ from the donor team. So then I see the feel and I feel sick. So I make my mind I want to change. 同时还有一点，你们知道死囚器官的质量是没有保障的。是它那种在刑场取的器官是没有质量保障的，很多我们器官移植的很多移植上去，它没有功能，它没有监管，这个器官是好的还是坏的都没有保障的。那只有在医院的严格的建设下，我们才能保证我们的器官移植的质量。所以2015年我们的器官移植的质量是我们中国器官移植上最好的一年。
Why did China's organ transplantation quality go up in 2015? It's because there were no organs cut off in vans anymore. And instead, all organs were obtained under strict supervision of hospitals. The change originated from the establishment of Organ Procurement Organization Union, OPO Union, announced by Huang Zhefu in Guangzhou City in March 2014. The second preparatory meeting of China's OPO Union was held in Kunming City on December 3, 2014. The meeting outlined a charter and organizational structure. Huang Zhefu announced at the meeting that China would stop using organs from executed prisoners starting January 1, 2015. Instead, voluntary citizen organ donations would become the only legal source of China's organs for transplant. Thus, the words executed prisoner organs vanished from China's organ transplantations, and all the organs obtained by the OPO were donated voluntarily by citizens. In 2017, the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong investigated the situation of brain death sources through phone calls to organ transplant hospitals. The larger transplant hospitals indicated that there are a large number of donors that are batched and assigned by the state.
供体一般都是健康的吧？
供体呢？供体现在我们医院最大的特色就是一个亲体的供体，第二个的供体呢，也是主要的供体呢，就是这个捐献的，就是说脑死亡的病人。但是呢，现在就是说遗体捐献的现在量非常大，一年呢至少在250例以上。
你说这个250是什么？我没听清楚。
就是说这个遗体这个捐献嘛。
哦，就咱们医院每年能获得250个遗体捐献。
我估计17年就不止这个数了。
不止哦。
对，是，现在目前已经超300个了，就现在7月份已经超300了。
您说这个300是已经做了300例肾移植了，还是300个遗体呀
？300个遗体贡献的。
那苏大夫，我还想问您，就是这些遗体是从哪里来的？
不就脑死亡的病人吗？
那是从脑死亡，他那个你们医院自己能有这么多脑死亡病人吗？
这肯定不是啦，全国各地。
全国各地，那就是国家统一分配吗？
那肯定啦，但这个分配还是你越强大就分配的越多，就是这么一个，是不是？
就留下好的做是吧？那你们的那个司法这边的，包括那个什么，反正就是那种。
对，其实我自己觉得司法途径它不一定就是说比现在那个捐献的供体要质量要好，不一定，这不一定。因为我们这边经常很多也是这种10来20岁的那个小孩子，他质量非常好，而且我们现在就按照国家做脑死亡，意思是他根本就乐趣的时间几乎没有乐趣的时间，像以前那种司法，他要打枪之后可能心跳还停了几分钟或10几分钟。
你说反而那种
10分钟之上，对，现在一部分时间都没有了。
你说每天都有做吗？有做的多的话，我就把它尽快送过去。
每天倒没有这种频次，就是它一批一批的嘛，有时候一来好几个，有时候又休息几天又来好几个。
就是大约就是咱们现在就是1个月大约像这样的能做。
但是基本上就是没断过，这样说吧，就没断过。
你说怎么一批一批的来？我刚才还没听明白，怎么叫一批一批的来啊？
一批一批的来啊，就是没什么，就是有这样一种倾向吧，就是说，就是供体啊，就是一批一批，不是说没有绝对说这样，有时候就连续来呀。
来，咱们说说供体哈，不是那个器官哈。
因为我们医院自己能够有资质能够取嘛，所以一般时常都是自己取的。
From those phone calls investigation, we can tell the mode of operation of China's OPO. Every few days, the OPO receives a batch of brain-dead donors that are allocated by the state. The purpose of doing it this way may be to avoid people's attention. OPO also accept voluntary donations of organs. Those voluntary donation cases have been extensively reported and cover up the batches of brain-dead donors of unknown origin. It can be believed that all of the unreported brain-dead donors are not voluntary donations. Most of them are highly likely to be Falun Gong practitioners who are made brain death artificially. They are then allocated to OPO in different hospitals to have their organs taken for transplant. From earlier Wen Huang Jefu transferring two big alive persons for spare livers to First Affiliated Hospital of Xinjiang Medical University, to nowadays allocating artificial brain-dead donors to OPO. Their nature is the same, but the current practice is more sunny and thus more deceptive. China Organ Transplant Response System (COTRS) is the system for obtaining and allocating human organs sponsored by the National Health and Family Planning Commission of China. The National Health and Family Planning Commission enforced the COTRS to allocate organs on September 1, 2013. Although its enforcement, hospitals that have organ sources don't use this system. The COTRS systematically collects the needs and geographical distribution of the majority of the patients awaiting organs, which can greatly lessen the large number of organs wasted that has always existed in China. What's the waiting time for an organ transplant operation in China since the use of COTRS? Let's take a look at some reported cases.
就在我们这个移植中心呢，差不多等待尸肝的病人呢，总有那么50-60人，包括成人和儿童。平均等待的话，现在可能大概在2-3个月左右的时间。
两人拿苹果手已经好，就为这个时候等，终于等到了嘛，好像就失而复得的那种感觉。
轩轩患的是扩张型心肌病，已经发展到心力衰竭，心脏移植是他活下去唯一的希望。
住院住了26天，前天的下午12点他就过来，他说这边嘛，广州中山医院有个26岁的那个男孩出了车祸。
这位患者1个月前刚来到这里时，差点晕倒在护士站。经检查，患上急性肝衰竭，最多只有20来天寿命，必须尽快进行肝移植手术。幸运的是，在生命只剩几天的时候，一个与他匹配的肝源把他从死亡线上拉了回来。
这一天，一位肝脏衰竭病人通过在中国人体器官分配与共享计算机系统排队，幸运地得到了器官移植机会。
他这种情况呢，就是往往在几天到几周之内就要面临一个死亡的考验。所幸的是呢，就是说刚好有一个适合他的肝脏通过网络分配过来的。
The First Affiliated Hospital of Unveil Medical University completed 5 organ transplants in 48 hours on September 3, 2017. Among the recipients, Mr. Song had waited for 2 months to get his first liver. However, the liver wasn't healthy enough to be transplanted. A day later, another liver was found for Song and transplanted. Phoenix News Media reported on March 22, 2017 that the First Affiliated Hospital, Zhejiang University did 14 major organ transplant surgeries in 48 hours. One of the patients, Mr. Yi, was sent in the hospital with massive gastrointestinal bleeding. Fortunately, a successful matching liver donation was available immediately.
A 24-year-old patient surnamed Guan in Fuzhou, capital of eastern China's Fujian province, needed a heart transplant due to a worsening blood clot around his heart. He found a matching donor about a 3-hour drive away in the north of the province.
West China Hospital of Sichuan University, did an emergency lung transplant on June 24, 2016. The patient was sent to the hospital on June 21 in respiratory failure. By June 23 his condition was critical and he could die any time. That evening, he received a lung sourced through COTRS. On April 28, 2016, a patient with severe liver failure checked into Huashan Hospital affiliated to Fudan University. He was scheduled for a liver transplant on the same day.
他职业生涯中最严峻的挑战，是一次为肝移植患者手术后移植肝并未工作。
病人就躺在那儿，所有的眼睛都看着你，大家眼巴巴地等着。那个时候呢，病人的状态，沈院长就问我说：“病人怎么样啊？还能不能接受这个再次移植的这个手术？”那么我觉得这个病人呢，和一个就是说第一次接受肝脏移植手术的那个病人的那种生理状态差不多，也就是说我们给他维持的还是相当的不错啊。那么这个病人后来通过再次的移植挽救了生命。
심장체계 저분도 간이 어제 간 판단으로 2주만 2주만에 했고 한 번 하면 50일만에 했고 지금 애인 또 한 번은 지금 치사하려고 지금 기다리고 있거든요. 이제 일주일 넘었는데.
저희는 최대한 빨리 다른 방법이 없을까요? 대기 시간을 줄이거나.
都不好说的，都不好说。일주일 될 걸요. 그 사람들은 막 이튿날도 되는 사람도 있고, 오래 기다리는 사람들은 한 달, 한 달 반 기다리는 사람도 있고, 빠르면 막 일주일, 며칠 기다리는 사람도 있고 그렇습니다. 어떻게 더 빨리 할 수 있는 길을 루트를 알아보면 우리가 기금회다 기부를 한다. 내가 다른 날 마음
젊은
그거는 그렇지. 그것도 어떻게 나이 많은 사람은 안 씁니다. 그래도 선택을 또 합니다. 환자 입장은 다 그렇지. 내가 젊고 좋은 삶이 갖다 하지. 늙은 사람은 나이 많은 사람들은 안 갖다 하지.
According to case reports, the patients awaiting organs are usually not in critical condition. Once in critical condition, matching organs are obtained immediately. Even so, the usual waiting time is still very short. The United States is recognized as the leading country in transplantation. Its population is over 300 million people, and 140 million voluntarily donate their organs. It has a mature organ allocation system and green transmission channel. However, the average waiting time for a kidney is 3.5 years. In China, the average wait time is just a few weeks, and for emergency situations, the organs are obtained almost immediately. There is no doubt that not all the organs used in China are from voluntary donors. The small number of voluntary organ donations covers up the large number of unknown donor organs. Also, with a financial donation, one can quickly receive a transplant and can opt for a young donor. How is this possible? As it's rationalized in the article, Shady Human Organ Trafficking in China by Phoenix Weekly, there's a huge invisible organ bank in China that a large number of Falun Gong practitioners, a small number of Tibetans, Uyghurs and so on become a source of donors for this organ bank. The China model of China's organ donation and transplantation can solve the problem of organ shortage. The reason there are so many organs is that there are a lot of unknown donors. The statistics and methods used by other nations with mature organ transplantation systems are not applicable to the China program of the China model. Therefore, the number of voluntary organ donors in China can't be estimated. The system leaves big room for the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) to massacre Falun Gong practitioners and allocate them as brain-dead donors to the OPO centers. In this way, gaining huge profits through massacre can be done openly and smoothly in the name of being legal, sunny, fair and just. The COTRS clearly provides the distribution of demand for organs in terms of time and location. It prevents the loss of any possible organ transplant surgery, including emergency transplants. It also provides the use all organs from every donor to maximize profits. From this point of view, The China model is nothing more than a carefully constructed platform, wrapped up in a legal shell to slaughter people and use their organs to make obscene amounts of money. Once the platform is in full operation, the donor source will not be only Falun Gong practitioners, but will include any group not favored by the CCP. It already works like this. According to the investigation by U.S. human rights group Freedom House, Tibetans, Uyghurs, and family church members have already become the source of organs of this platform. The CCP has massacred over 80 million Chinese people through all the political movements since the CCP took power. The CCP has always used lies to start each political movement. It was the same with the persecution to Falun Gong, that the CCP has spread tremendous lies. The China model of organ donations and transplantation is likewise completely built on lies and deception. The statement, "Voluntary organ donations from citizens who have passed away will become the only source of China's organ transplants," is totally a lie under the China model. Any polishing and smearing of this murder platform is to cover up the evil crime for the CCP, and becomes complicit and an accomplice in the CCP's slaughter of people. Don't think that all the crimes are arranged by the CCP government and it has nothing to do with oneself. And don't think that all the crime marks will be erased so no one knows. Doing guilty things in a dark room looks like lightning in God's eyes. Every move made and every word said is recorded in the universe. When we face the universe's final trail, hopefully each of us can proudly say that I rejected the temptation of the devil's illusory power and profits, and I've guarded human dignity with a kind nature.